Hello, what's going on, people? How is everyone doing? I am doing good. It's the start of the week. Had a pretty decent weekend. Of course, it was work filled, but that's how I do. I if you know me, you know I work most weekends. So, I think I got one day off to watch some football all day. So that was a blessing. I'm gonna hold on to that. Keep it moving. This is my first podcast I've done in a while because of my work schedule and being able to just sit down and talk to y'all and get me a good podcast in. Just been busy. But never fear, I am here. Today, I am going to label this episode or this particular podcast, Living with Type 2 Diabetes. Now, a lot of people, you may know me, a lot of people that listen to me may know me personally or know me in my personal life. A lot of you may not. So I'm going to, if you don't know me, then I'm going to give you an intimate snapshot of me being a type 2 diabetic. And I'm just going to share my personal experiences and of what I go through and what I do to try to better my situation and hopefully pass off a little information to help someone who may be in the same predicament or same boat or same situation, what have you. It may help, So let's take it back. So I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes about a little over 5 years ago, I think is when it happened. It was quite funny when it happened, right? So right before I went to the doctor, before I got diagnosed, I was having, a few issues, the health scares here and there. It's nothing major, just minor stuff. My blood pressure spiking up and me feeling really fatigued and stuff like that. So, I was going to the doctor and they never really checked my blood sugar levels. So, when I finished my doctor's, the day I got diagnosed, I had just left the doctor, right? Now, mind you, before I got to the actual doctor's office, I was eating it was right. I think it wasn't right before my son's birthday because my son's birthday is in December, so it wasn't right before it was after that. It was maybe like a month or two after that. Now, that has to come into play because we had a birthday party for him, and at the birthday party we had like an abundance of Airheads, right? So I'm popping Airheads. I'm eating Airheads like every fucking day, like 3 or 4 of them, some bitches every day. So also, right before, so on the way to the doctor's office, I got like 3 or 4 Airheads. I'm eating them. I'm addicted to them damn things. 3 or 4 Airheads I'm eating, and then I had a whole cup of Kool-Aid. Why I had a whole cup of Kool-Aid going to the doctor's office, I would never be able to explain to you. But alas, I did. So I had a whole cup of Kool-Aid and I drank the Kool-Aid, eating Airheads and all that shit. Mind you, I think I'm Superman, right? I know I'm getting older. I just turned 46. So I know I'm getting older, but I'm thinking I'm in relatively good health. I work in the labor industry. I haven't had any real issues. I had, you have those getting old issues, like bones cracking when you get up, and you may have little back pains here there. I know I got a source of my back pain. It's because of that mattress I got, but that's another story. So, but you have those little things when you get older. And you had those little pains every now and then. Those growing pains, those getting old pains. Yeah, I'm starting to get those. Okay. That's here, no there. So overall, I'm thinking I'm in like good health, except for, a touch of high blood pressure, but that runs in my family. Okay, so let me fast forward. So I get done with the initial doctor's appointment, right? So I'm done with the doctor's appointment. I leave, and I get a call, and they had got my lab results back I'm guessing he tested my blood sugar finally, and I got my lab results back. And the nurse called me, and she was like, well, sir, how are you the first thing she asked me was, how are you feeling? And I'm feeling fine. And I said, I feel fine. And she said, well, your blood sugars say different. She was like, I may need you to go to the hospital. The hospital? What the hell are you talking about? She was like, my blood sugar was almost like 600. I was like, 600? She was like, yes, your blood sugar is amazingly high. She was like, I don't realize how. She was being real candid with it. She was like, I don't even understand how you are able to function right now with your blood sugar high. I said, I feel fine. I said, y'all sure was an accurate reading, because I feel fine. I don't feel anything. And she was like, well, no. She said, well, what I need you to do, we're going to schedule for you to come back in the next day. If you're not going to go to the hospital, we need you to come back in the next day. Because I was not going to go to the hospital because I felt fine. Again, that's that Superman moment where I think that I'm invincible and not listening to my body. So I go in the next day, and they took the lab results. And I guess they speed rushed them, and I got them back. And my blood sugar went from like 6 to like 350. And any diabetic will know, any type 2 diabetic will know that's still amazingly high, right? So I end up getting put on medicine. I end up getting put on metformin. Metformin was the first medication they put me on. So I started taking metformin, and with metformin, you have to take it twice a day. Now, for those of you who take metformin, y'all about to know exactly what I'm about to say. Okay, for this next message is for those who do not take metformin if you are a type 2 diabetic. Metformin is basically a laxative. And I'm not going to get more explicit than that. Metformin is basically a laxative. Okay? Be very careful when you take this medication. It is not fun. It clears you out. Now, it helps with bringing down your blood sugar and your A1C. But at a cost. You will be in the bathroom. Let's go ahead and just tell you that. So, fast forward, I changed doctors. So I started going to this new doctor, and he's really good doctor. So I go and, now mind you, let me back up. Mind you, I'm being stubborn and hard-headed, and I'm not checking my blood sugar levels. You know how you got to prick your finger and use the glucose monitor? And I was like, nah, fuck that. I'm not going to do all of that, right? So at this time, I was active in the gym. And that's very important for a diabetic. You got to get your exercise in. You got to be active, because if you're a type 2 diabetic, that means your sugar is higher than normal. So you got to find a way to kind of burn that sugar off more, at a more efficient rate. Your body right now is telling you it can't fight the sugars off enough by itself. So you gotta activate your exercise in order to help your body burn the sugar off, the excess sugar off. So anyway, fast forward, new doctor, got a checkup, A1C still high, and blood sugar still high. So he's really matter of fact. He was like, hey, let's check this out. We got to get this down, or you're going to start losing limbs, and then you're going to die. I mean, he kind of like just candidly just put it there like, hey, this is what it is. But that sometimes that's what you need. A lot of times that's what you need. You need that direct approach to help you understand the seriousness of what you got going on. Now, mind you, my doctor, he cares about me a lot. That's why he's very direct with me. And I'm like, dude, I grew up in a military household. So you can give it to me straight. You know, so he's like, blah, 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 you need to do this, the X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. So, in the process of going through this with my new doctor, he prescribes me, Jardians. Alright, so Jardians has been out for a minute. It just has now become popular with the commercials and stuff like that. Jardians has been out for probably 3 years. And it's just not becoming popular. Excuse me. I didn't mean that. Excuse me. So now I'm on metformin and Jardians. Okay, so metformin has you going number 2. Jardians has you going number 1. So now I am taking a mixture of 2 medicines that do the complete opposite of one another. So now you are really in the bathroom. And that Jardians works like clockwork. That's one thing about Jardians. Jardians, you know, you might get a pass with metformin every now and then because you have to take 2 of them. You have to take 2 metformin pills a day. So what I do is I take one, especially if I'm on day shift, I take one in the morning, and then I take one when I get off work, when I call me off work. Jardians I take one time in the morning, right? So Jardians also helps you with your A1C, which is really good. Jardians is really good when it comes to trying to maintain and trying to control your type 2 diabetes. It's very good. So now I am on two different medications. So I haven't taken anything like the Mounjaro or what is the other? I can't think of the other diabetes thing that everybody taking to try to lose weight. And that's crazy. Y'all take that shit to try to lose weight, and I was like, I get it. I get it. But trust me, you do not want diabetes. Any diabetic will tell you, you do not want to live with diabetes because it's not fun. Because you basically have to change everything that you do. That's including your diet. You have to be very careful and very, very, for lack of a better word, attentive to what you eat, drink, and put in your body from here on out until you can fight this condition enough where your body can sustain controlling the sugar that you put in it. So you have to be very mindful of what you do, what you eat, how you exercise. It's really a life-changing, a situation-changing condition. At least for me it was. Now, let me speak to the fellas for a minute. Okay? So, fellas, becoming a diabetic will affect your sex life. And I'm being real candid right now. It will affect your sex life because the condition controls blood flow. It controls, and if you have too much sugar or you have so much excess sugar in your body and your body can't control it, it kind of closes off blood vessels in order for the blood to go through. So it's not so much performance. It's not so much performance. It's a medical thing where sometimes your dick might not work right. And this is it is something that is controlled. Thank God, I went through that period. I'm being very honest. I went through that period. I'm able to control it because I finally got off my ass and started to get my A1C down and learn more about the disease. So that's one of the things you got to really worry about. Now, I don't know how it affects women sexually. But I know for a man, it does affect men very, very much so, especially type 2 diabetes. And then on top of that, the meds don't help. Okay. So what I learned is, it's just like blood pressure medicine. Okay. Blood pressure medicine helps your blood pressure, but decreases your desire. Right? Your libido. Diabetic medicine kind of does the same, but it's trying to treat the physical aspect of it. If that makes any sense, it's trying to fix the physical aspect of it, but it can't do it alone. You have to make a lifestyle change, and that's real talk. And if your dick not working does not give you an incentive to get out there and do something, I don't know. I like to fuck, and I fuck well. So I have to make sure. I have to make sure big man is healthy, and thank God that I was like, okay. I think, and what's sad is I think that was what made me get off my ass and start to do right. I know. But that was one of the biggest factors that made me like, okay, I can't have this. I talk way too much shit to not be able to perform. So I had to get off my behind, and I lowered my A1C, and I got my diabetes under control. And yes, you can reverse it. Now, I have my diabetes controlled. I do not have it reversed. So, my advice to people who have type 2 diabetes, just continue to live a healthy lifestyle. Now, you don't have to live like a fucking rabbit. I'm not saying you got to throw leafy greens or eat tofu or become vegan or nothing like that. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is use everything in moderation. Even with your sugars. As a diabetic, you can have sugar. There are good sugars that your body can burn quickly and manage. And there's also sugars that your body can't. It takes longer. And that's part of the diabetic spectrum that you want to stay away from. I think the number one thing that my doctor told me that I shouldn't eat because the sugars are harder to break down is watermelon. Now, cliche. You black people love watermelon. And he told me those are the hardest sugars to break down in your body. And I never knew that. So I had to start doing a little research on what I can eat and what I can't eat. The keto diet is very good when trying to implement a different lifestyle into your daily food consumption. The keto diet is very good. I found myself trying it. It took some getting used to because you got to dress that shit up. Now, condiments and seasonings, they're okay. You're okay with those. But you have to dress some of that up. Now, I've thought about becoming vegan, but I love meat way too much. But what I had to do, I had to cut back on a lot of the red meat. So I eat a lot of turkey and fish. I try to eat very light. When I say light, I mean not heavy foods like steaks and a lot of carbs and stuff like that. I try to stay away from a lot of that. My biggest Achilles heel is hamburgers. Now, if anybody knows me, I'll eat a hamburger at a steakhouse. I choose hamburgers over steak any day. Any day. That is my thing. But I had to cut back on it because of the carbs. Now, also, French fries. Now, I am a fry fanatic. Mainly because I eat a lot of fast food. And that was another thing I had to cut. I had to start back cooking at the house. But eating fast food, French fries are always going to be my Achilles heel, and which are a flat out no for diabetics. And hopefully I'll get over my French fry addiction. I doubt it, but hopefully that I've had to cut back a lot, but I still find myself like really just indulging. McDonald's sells this boat of French fries now. They sell a boat of French fries that I could just dive my whole head in. But that's here nor there. So in retrospect, come full circle, I've had to really curb what I eat and what I drink. A lot of energy drinks I used to drink, so I had to cut back on those. Like Red Bulls, they make a 0 sugar Red Bull now. All right, so let me explain to you the difference between 0 sugar and sugar free. Okay, sugar free means it doesn't have any sugar, but it has a sugar substitute. Okay, 0 sugar means 0 sugar, no sugar, no substitute. So that's the difference. Sometimes you'll look at a certain product and a product will say sugar free, but that does not mean it doesn't have a sugar substitute. 0 sugar means it has none. So to my diabetics out there, be mindful of what you buy, because sometimes you'll be fooled or you'll be misled about what you're buying, and one helps you more than the other. So it's just something to keep in mind. As for drinking sodas, so now you have to be very mindful of drinking sodas. Now, what I've found is a lot of the zero sugar sodas they're supposed to help you. I drink them. They don't tend to spike my numbers a lot. My numbers might go up a little, but not nowhere near as if you're drinking a regular soda, like a Coke. I mean, when I'm talking about zero, I'm talking about like a Coke Zero or a Pepsi Zero. What I found is the best tasting one of Coke Zeros and the Dr. Pepper Zero, and maybe the what is that? Root Beer Zero. The Barks Root Beer Zero. Those are the 3 that me personally, taste the best. So I would advise those if I'm going to advise anything. They do help you control, because especially like me who likes to drink sodas a lot, they do control the sugar aspect. Now they don't control nothing else. All the other bad shit is still in it. But it won't spike your sugar. This is just from personal observation with my body. It doesn't spike my numbers like a regular soda would. So you should be pretty much good if you want those. But again, water. If you can drink more water, now I'm a water person. I will drink water from here on out. So, but a lot of times you don't have access to water like that unless it's tap. But everybody knows tap water is horrible. This shit is fucking horrible. But anyway, coffee is good. If you like cream in your coffee, they make a 0 sugar creamer. You also can use Splenda. I wasn't a big Splenda fan until I became a diabetic, and found out Splenda is actually good for you. Well, good for being a diabetic. You're not using straight sugar, you're using a sugar substitute, and the sugar substitute does not spike your numbers. So, with my coffee, I use a 0 sugar creamer, and I use Splenda, and it tastes just as good. So I try to, for the most part, control what I can control. And that's the biggest thing. You control what you can control to help you get through it, or help you fight it and help you possibly beat it. So that is all the time I have for today. I just want to pass along some information and share a little bit of my situation with you all, which, is healthy. I thank y'all for allowing me to, come on this mic and express and talk about my issues and some of the things that I could pass along. If I could help someone else out there deal with something or handle something in a way that helps them, then it's all good to me. It's all good to me. Well, with that being said, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. I hope everybody has an excellent week, and I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.
Bitch, I'm one of the greatest to do this shit.